Hello and welcome to Stretford Paddock. We're here this morning for the news, and again, it's Jadon Sancho today. How you all doing this morning? Lovely Tuesday morning, Tuesday the 7th of April 2020. Again, I'm going to say the date every day, like some sort of public service broadcast. Jadon Sancho, innit? This transfer keeps going, keeps talking. Again, as I keep saying, we're sort of drifting towards things potentially happening. Let me get this up on the screen. See, I've worked out to do that now on here, which is new as of today. Let me know how you're all doing in the comments. It's a lovely Tuesday. I don't know what it's like where you are, but here the weather is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to be looking at it through the window all day, which is lovely, very exciting. Benjamin saying morning, Joe. Morning. Oliver saying, have you seen the? No, I haven't. I haven't seen that. I don't know what that is. Dimitri, we will be talking about that very soon. So thank you very much for putting that comment. But we'll be talking about that in a minute. But first of all, it is Jadon Sancho, and this is Raphael Honigstein. For those of you who don't know who he is a sort of, I think tier 2 on Reddit. If you're all sort of, up to date and kind of aware of what that means. But basically, it means is that below the likes of the BBC and certain other journalists. Harry Winter, I think, is tier 1 and that kind of thing. He's basically the next level down, above most of the newspapers, above the likes of the Mail, the Mirror, all that lot. He's like in a tier where you go, if he says this, he probably knows something. It's not a dead cert, but he's got contacts, he's got sources. If he's saying it, he's a sort of journalist, he's a sort of reporter, he's a sort of broadcaster who isn't just saying anything here and there to get clicks. He's saying it because he knows something, usually, and that's how he's kept his reputation, how he's kept, again, that tier list, which I honestly think the Reddit tier list, I don't know if, I think it's on a few subreddits, but the Red Devils Reddit tier list is the best thing to ever happen to transfer news. I mean, it's the best thing that's ever happened. I mean, as someone who has trawled through News Now for years in my youth, News Now was the one with the views first. I still go to News Now, I still look on News Now. But that was the one where you'd go to, and that's got everything. It's hard to kind of decipher the amount of publications that you've never heard of, the amount of titles like "This United Star Makes Shock Appearance," or it's always every title's got 4 or 5 kind of vague. You don't know who the player they're talking about. You don't know what they've done. You don't know how much money they've done it for. They're the 3 things in every title. You won't believe what this United Star did in this Midlands town for this amount of money. Like, what even is that headline? But then the Reddit came along, the subreddit tier list, and again, Raphael Honigstein, who is a tier 2 member of that tier list, is honestly one of the best things that's ever happened. It's more reliable. You have a reason. You have a laid out reason as to why people are valued as reliably as they are in different things. Fantastic. Anyway, let's get to the story. This again, Raphael Honigstein reveals how Manchester United are convincing Jadon Sancho to sign, and this was on a podcast that he did yesterday. It says this is coming from the Steelcast podcast. It said United can't promise titles to Sancho straight away, but they can promise him to be the leading star in a new team that is emerging. And from what I've been told, that is quite appealing to him. So that was the big quote that people are talking about there. Again, I'll read that again. United can't promise titles, which they are. We won a couple of titles a couple of years ago. Maybe Premier League titles, I think he means there. United can't promise titles to Sancho straight away, but they can promise him to be the leading star in a new team that is emerging. And from what I've been told, that is quite appealing to him. Let me know in the comments whether you think, that would be an appealing prospect to a young player like Sancho. Also, let me know if you think he would be United's leading star. Is he going to be the one who's at, on the front when they've got like the photo shoot? He's going to be the one at the front. Does he think he's going to be like the star man, bigger than Pogba, bigger than Rashford, bigger than Martial? But that's where he's been sort of kind of ranked according to Honigstein, which is him reporting on seemingly what he understands Sancho has been told, if that makes any sense. Saying they can promise him to be the leading star in a new team that is emerging. How amazing is it as well, by the way, that what was it? Obviously, we've had a month off now, 6 weeks off, whatever it's been. But the 6 weeks before that, before the Burnley game, it was all up in the air. Will Solskjaer even be there next season? This team looks like it's a bit sluggish. Paul Pogba wants to leave. This player's not doing it. Martial's not quite on form. Rashford's just got injured. It looked like we're struggling here, lads. And then what is it? It's 11 unbeaten in a row, and all of a sudden there's this. It's an emerging team. It's this youthful. Finally, people appreciate that. We've got one of the youngest average team ages in the Premier League. So even if we didn't buy any players in 2 years, this team will be better than it is now. And it's amazing how much of a short period of time things can turn around. And I know everyone, we all know this is sort of commonplace in football, where the last 3 weeks might as well have been the entire club's history, because if you win 3 games if you beat, like we did it in December, City and Tottenham in 4 days, all of a sudden you might as well have had Sir Alex Ferguson as your manager again. So it is remarkable to me how quickly this team has gone from this team where Solskjaer probably won't be there at the end of the season. Rashford looks like he's not getting enough goals. Martial looks bored. Pogba wants to leave. All this sort of thing. To all of a sudden, it's this emerging young team where we've got these exciting young players. Rashford, Martial also all of a sudden looks like a goal scorer. Rashford got 19 goals in about 30 games at the start of the season, which is amazing. Paul Pogba might even be willing to stay now. And if he doesn't, we've got Bruno Fernandes, who is another piece of that jigsaw puzzle that has come in and completely changed the way everything feels at the moment. And seemingly, that new feel around the club is going to be one of the things that entices Jadon Sancho. Have you ever watered the plants? Watered them this morning, mate. The speck of food on your top is so annoying. What speck of food? I don't know what you mean. Anyway, in the news, I don't know. The plant can deputise for Pogba if he leaves. Yeah, exactly. What's happening with the PL Hall of Fame inductees was meant to be on the 19th of March. I guess they've postponed it, because you don't want to be inducting people into a Hall of Fame over Skype, really, do you? I guess that'll be coming back after football comes back. Do you think Pogba would want to stay that bit more now? Let's go this here. Do you think Pogba would want to stay more now that players like Sancho, who has a potential personality similar to his own, are arriving and who are naturally class? In terms of personality, I don't quite know what Sancho's personality is like. I know that he was friends with Angel Gomez, in the youth teams. He seems to be friends with Marcus Rashford and Jesse Lingard. I think obviously we know that those two are friends at United, and it seems from what I'm literally talking about what I've seen on Instagram, what I've seen of Rashford talking about Sancho the other day on that Bleacher Report Instagram Live, saying how it would be exciting to link up with him, that kind of thing. But he was always going to say something like that. In terms of Pogba staying, I think it would increase his chances. Just assuming he's a human like the rest of us. If you put yourself in the shoes of Paul Pogba and thought 6 months ago he was the best player at the club by a mile, Rashford had never proved that he could score goals. He proved that he could get a dozen or so, but this season he clearly stepped up to another level in terms of his goal scoring and his overall performance. The team looks more settled now. We've had rejuvenations in players like Matic and Luke Shaw. We've had and Fred, players coming through. Brandon Williams looking sharp. Wan-Bissaka's been an excellent signing. Dan James has been better than everyone thought he would be. So I think I would assume he's more likely to stay or more likely to sign a new contract now than he was at the start of the season. But you can never really know for sure, can you? And I think there's always some sort of hope and excitement and giddiness that comes with a new season starting. So I think now may be a good time to try to get Paul Pogba to sign a contract if that's what they're trying to do. But it's hard to know really whether his mind's made up or whether something like this could change his mind. I hope United don't sign Sancho because I'm a massive Paddock FC fan, and I hope he goes there. Yeah, me too. We're working on some things, but I think Jadon Sancho might be slightly out of our price budget. Who knows? But yeah, obviously it looks as though this Sancho deal is creeping towards something. I don't know. I almost feel stupid acting like, oh, this one might happen. This is going to happen, because we've seen it so many times where things are so close and they don't. We've seen United announcing things. Was it Aaron Ramsey that we announced on the website and it didn't happen? So anything can change at any time. But it looks as though all the right people are saying the right things about this deal. It looks as though all of the right steps have been taken. I tell you what, I would love. How good would it be if we just did what Chelsea did with Ziyech, and in about 2 weeks or tonight, United came out and said, at the start of next season, Jadon Sancho will be playing for Man United. How good would that be? But yeah, we'll move on to our next story in just a second. But before that, do check out you might have seen some people in here with the little logo next to their name. That's the memberships that we're doing. I'm sure a lot of you know about it now. If you want to help the channel out and get loads of extra fun content, loads of extra videos, extra stuff, discounts, that kind of thing, you can check it all out. If you just click the little join button, and you can see the different tiers, see which one you fancy, and the money will be going to a good cause. Because I need to get some new plants and actually pay rent. So, you know, every little helps. Yeah, so just click the little join button and you can become a Paddock member. Alexa's lost her head. Anyway, right, let's move on to our next.
I'm not sure.
I'm going to have to unplug her. She's gone rogue. She's playing music. I can't have that. How is this happening? Right. She had to be disconnected. This is like iRobot. If any of you have seen iRobot, she went rogue there. You all heard that. I did not call Alexa to do anything, and she started playing music. Modern technology, bloody hell. Right, next story then. This one, I can't go from this to our next story, which is a serious one. Okay, I'm going to have to. Liverpool have backtracked on their furloughing plans for their non-playing staff. And we don't normally talk about Liverpool in this on this channel, obviously, but this current climate, this current situation is a slightly different thing to anything we've ever seen before. So I think it's good because, you know, I've given them some stick in the past. I gave them some stick for not doing this. I'm not even just some stick. I think it's a disgrace that they ever planned on not doing it. And I'm not really going to give them too much credit for changing their minds. But who I will give credit for, and the reason I've brought this, you know, story up, who I will give credit for is everyone at home and everyone who says, you know, as I go to people on Twitter who part of the backlash of this kind of thing. I know sometimes it seems trivial and sometimes people get the wrong end of backlash and sometimes things are unfair, but something like this, where it's multi-million-pound corporations or, you know, billion-dollar corporations, if they were to sell, it'd be, you know, billions. This is a billion-dollar corporation who made, you know, hundreds of millions of pounds last season. And, you know, the reaction and the backlash that people gave in the papers and not just Twitter, but the general feeling around this decision is what made them change their mind. So, you know, not a well done to Liverpool because they've just done the right thing. So you don't really get much credit for doing the right thing. But well done to everyone who made a fuss, basically. I know it sounds stupid, but that's why stuff like protest and stuff like, you know, this kind of criticism and that and this sort of thing is a good thing when it's used in the right way. Obviously, people get lives ruined, all that sort of stuff. But when something stupid and something that's clearly wrong happened, like that did, I think, you know, the people who came out and said, this is wrong, you've done the wrong thing here, everyone on Twitter, everyone on social media, and just, you know, generally, I think is part of the reason they changed their mind and have now done the right thing. So well done to everyone who, you know, kicked up a bit of a fuss. But yeah, this is in the BBC. Liverpool have reversed their decision to place some non-playing staff on temporary leave and apologise to fans. Their chief executive, Peter Moore, said, "We believe we came to the wrong conclusion last week and we are truly sorry for that." And yeah, this is also goes hand in hand with the news that we already knew. We talked about already that United won't be furloughing staff, and of course they're not going to now. You know, after this has happened, there's still Tottenham and I think Newcastle who have furloughed their staff, and as far as I'm aware, they haven't, you know, turned that back around. But also another thing, another reason I bring this up is because it's not just Liverpool have done this now. The reaction that everyone gave to Liverpool doing this, Liverpool especially, because I think, you know, as much as Tottenham are a big club, Liverpool are a giant club, and they're, you know, probably going to win the league this season. If teams that are that size can't be paying their staff, you know, what hope do you have for anyone else? I think it not just, you know, helps the people who are employed by Liverpool. It sets a good precedent for every other club now, where if you can afford to pay your non-playing staff, you have to. And I think that it's a good thing. Everyone did well. Well done for having a go at Liverpool. It's fun to have a go at Liverpool, especially when you write. Do you know what I mean? Not me, but just everyone. It's nice that it's not just petty stuff like, oh, you didn't win the league for 30 years. It's stuff like pay your employees, and they've changed it. And hopefully, again, that will be a sort of a sign to any other clubs who. There are plenty of football clubs who can't afford to pay their non-playing staff, by the way. And I think at some point we have to draw the line as to how much criticism those clubs get. But, you know, clubs the size of Liverpool, clubs the size of Man United, clubs the size of Man City, who the other day came out and said that they won't be furloughing their staff, which again, you know, hats off to them, well done. That, you know, I think this decision will hopefully be a sort of a landmark decision in terms of other clubs going forward. So it's not just the Liverpool, you know, staff that have helped there. it's hopefully a lot of other club staff as well. And again, it's not that they wouldn't be making the money because Liverpool were going to top like 20% up, but it's money coming from the government, taxpayers' money that could be going to better causes than propping up £1 billion organisations. Someone said in the comments, Martial is bad. Nice one, mate. Right, that's going to be all from me today. Let me know again what you think to the idea that Jadon Sancho he looks like he's happy with the idea of moving to Man United. It looks like he's keen on it. It looks as though he's interested again, according to Raphael Honigstein. Ned Newman really loves talking about Martial. UEFA announced they will have the title no matter what. I don't think they did they? Unless they announced that like now. Have they just announced that? As far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm aware, they haven't. But who knows? Anyway, that's going to be all from us today. There's some very strange comments at the moment. So, well played, lads. Well played. Too strange for me, even. Too strange for me. Right, yeah, that's going to be all. We're going to be back later on this afternoon for a podcast, and hopefully we'll have Adam McCullough from Full Time Devils on that. And also check him out on his channel at 12 o'clock as well, if you fancy it, because he'll be doing a video, so that should be good. Yeah, we'll be back, like I said, for the podcast at 4 p.m. So be sure to tune in for that. Thank you very much for joining me this morning. Have a great day. See you next time.